Hi, Richard. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Brian.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man.
So we got you on today to find out everything about photographers.
Ooh, okay.
And we're going to start at the very start. So young couple are engaged. Where do they start looking for a photographer? What would be the first steps?
Ideally, I would love if they were kind of looking through with say hotels and stuff like that. But what's happening lately is they all look through online. So the first thing they do, they get engaged and they go, right, I'm going to start looking, and they start going on Instagram and social media, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. And they start looking for wedding photographers or whatever. And they come up with a big long list of wedding photographers. And then they're kind of going, okay, what do I do next? And I think that's where a lot of couples are starting to struggle, because they're kind of going, who should I trust? Who should I like? I love that style of that photograph, but the worry I have is they're seeing the tip of the iceberg for that photographer.
Yeah.
So they're seeing their very best work, because like Instagram's becoming like a portfolio for photographers now. So they're not showing every wedding; they're just showing their very best weddings. So that might be 2 or 3 of their weddings, and I think people get lost in the whole Instagram, the filter, or the vibe with the Instagram, and they kind of go, okay, my wedding's going to look like that, and they don't realize like that wedding was shot in Italy, or that wedding was shot somewhere else other than Ireland.
Yeah, it's a good point that because I think, especially because my Instagram is full of like wedding stuff now, when it comes to photography stuff, anything that's on it, the algorithm is like real stylistic stuff, and you're kind of like, they got married in a cathedral in Barcelona, like it's
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Like I the funniest one I always find is I get the one where they see all these lovely beachy photographs and like by the seaside and the water splashing and that kind of stuff and the whole lot, but they get married in Roscommon.
Yeah,
kind of going, you need a bit of realistic expectations here.
First of all, don't get married in Roscommon. That'd be the first piece of advice.
Roscommon's a nice place now. Not too
if
bad.
you want a beach shot, don't get married in Roscommon. And do you ever have couples that send you like an image like that on Instagram as an idea, or say that this is what we're looking for?
Yeah, I do. I like that. The hardest thing I always try to figure out is, you have somebody that comes on and you don't know what they like, you don't know what they're interested in a whole lot, and you're trying to get an idea of what kind of couple they're going to be like. So what I love is like if they send me photographs, or if I see, if I've put up a photograph and they've liked it, and I'm going, okay, they like what I'm doing. That's my kind of bride. But what I worry about is, where I don't know anything about them and I don't know what they like. So I'm always asking couples, look, send me some photographs of stuff you've seen on.
You don't know what they're expecting.
Exactly.
After
and like a lot of photographers hate the whole Pinterest board thing and the whole lot. I love it because it gives you an idea of what they like, and you get an idea of, are they into kind of really kind of elegant, true to life weddings, or are they more into kind of natural, fun, having the crack kind of weddings? So you kind of need to know that.
Does that mean that like your style, obviously everyone has their own style and stuff, but are you a bit more, I guess the word is like malleable? Can you change it up based on what? You
pretty much, here's the thing, right? A lot of people don't realise. So the majority of imagery, we'll say, that we take is all kind of, we'll say, true to life. So we're capturing, the cameras are 9 out of 10 times people are capturing kind of an automatic view of the day. Okay. And then they're applying a style to it. So like I have had weddings where I've shot a wedding exactly the same, but the couple have asked for like an American style to it. So it's a lot darker, it's a lot moodier and hot. So it's a filter, it's a preset that we're applying to the photographs.
Yeah.
The bigger worry is kind of more to do with the actual moments in the photographs. So do they like the photographs where they're like these way I can describe my stuff would be very natural, and I'm trying to get candid moments throughout the day. So it's kind of 80-90% documentary. That's the day. And I'm trying to give them a little bit of direction and stuff like that. But I'm always saying to people, there's going to be about 10% that's a little bit posed. So that's literally cutting the cake, signing the registry, stuff like that. So that's the kind of stuff where you kind of want, it's what I call the grannies want them, where you're looking at the camera and you're smiling and it's kind of that posed photograph. But the rest of the day is all natural, because when a bride's walking up the aisle, you can't say, sorry, father, can we do that again? Or, you can't recreate that moment.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
So it has to be true to life. It has to be very natural.
Actually, that's a good point, because even when I got married, I was afraid of boys like you and videographers like you as well, actually. Because I said to my wife, I'm not going to have these boys dragging me around the place, right?
I didn't drag you around.
No, you didn't. No, but actually, when you realise for a 14-hour day, there's about 45 minutes where you're actually going, okay, let's get these family photos done now. And then the rest of it then is as it goes.
Yeah, it's even less. Like you're talking maybe 20 minutes for family photographs. Your creatives should only last about half an hour max. And that's literally even pushing, because I feel like a lot of photographers, they feel like they have to have an hour with the couple. And that's, look, everybody's to their own whole lot. But I feel like if you haven't got it within the first 20, 30 minutes, you're not going to get it. You're just repeating what you're doing.
Yeah.
Whose
fault is that now? Yours or the couple's? No, let's not get into that.
So I suppose then, if a couple are looking for a photographer and they're on Instagram, how do they know? You're like saying to use different filters. Like, do you show them a full album, or how did they drill it down to know exactly what the photographer is?
The best thing I would say to them is go meet your photographer. So if you like a style, if you like a person on Instagram or whatever, reach out to them and say, look, I'd love to meet up and see your work and see a full wedding, because like that's what you need to see. Like, Instagram just shows you the creatives, or it shows you the fun, candid ones, but you want to see what happens in the morning, what happens when dad sees you for the first time, what happens when your speeches are happening and stuff, and what's the crack that happens then, or what happens after the first dance, all that kind of stuff. So like, the idea is like, you'll get a good feel, like this person's going to be around you all day, so that photographer is going to be within your radius. Like, I
suppose to meet them you have to get on with them as well.
Exactly. Like, they are literally part of your bridal party. That's the easy way I can describe it, is because they're with you all day. And like, the funny thing is, like, you're the same as me in that we're trying to kind of be as invisible as possible.
Yeah.
And like, I'm a big guy, so it's very hard for me. But it's literally kind of going back to, I'm trying to just blend in and be one of the people kind of so I'm not drawing attention.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I love the photographs where I'm a bit of distance away. So the couple have time to be just natural and just in the moment.
Well, I always find out with the video, if they forget you're there, it's the best footage.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's when somebody's conscious of the camera.
Is that why you're always in the hedge?
That's why I'm always hiding in the hedge.
Camouflage gear, everything on and the whole lot.
You're on the Serengeti.
But that's like the clip I saw the last. It was a girl I saw, and she.
You shared it on Instagram.
Yeah, so she was dressed in full camouflage gear, ready for like an engagement shoot, and it was like, and she had the long lens and the whole lot. But like, I feel like that's the way some of the wedding photography should be. You should be a fly on the wall. You should be invisible.
I think this is such a good point actually you're actually making there. A good photographer is like a good referee in football, where the game finishes and you go, he didn't take over that whole game and just let it happen. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, no, you have to. Like, I feel like a lot of times you're some photographers, and again, it's each their own, but there's a lot of photographers that have to be very close because of the lenses they're using and the style that they do. They have to be kind of very, very close. Whereas I'm literally on a 70-200. I'm across the altar because I'm trying to get the couple to forget about me. And like, I've started saying that to all my couples, like, forget it. Once you walk up the aisle, you do not need to look at me. For the whole ceremony, don't bother looking at me. You don't need to, because I feel what's happening lately is they're kind of going, they see me and all of a sudden they go,
yeah, he's looking at
that. You know, that kind of way. You're pointing over them. So it's much nicer where they're looking at each other or their family, or they're looking at their friends and the whole lot. And that's the kind of moments I think they'll remember in 20 years' time. Sorry, I want to keep cutting off. That's the moments they'll remember in 20 years' time, where they'll remember what they were talking about and what they were smiling about.
Yeah.
They're the moments that count.
Yeah.
You know?
So, right, a couple find the photographer they like. What happens next then after they've paid the booking fee? Like, say it's a year and a half out. What have they to think about, Anthony? Or
ideally, like, they should be starting to kind of plan everything from, we say, the timeline, all that kind of stuff. So like, the approach I've started taking is I'm trying to kind of get little bits of information out them as we go along coming up to the wedding, because up to now, what I've been doing is like a month before the wedding, I'm meeting up with the couple and I'm bombarding with questions. And I feel like it's too much, and it's like, geez, he's asking an awful lot of questions. So I'd love to kind of spread that out a bit more. But the idea being is like, I hate surprises at weddings. I love to know what's happening so I can be in the right place at the right time. So that's why I ask all the questions. But what they need to do is just make sure that they are confident that their photographer is going to get the day, that they have spoken to them about everything, if they have any concerns, if they have any worries, you know, if they know exactly what's happening on the day. And that's what I'm trying to do when I meet with the couple, is by the time we're finished the meeting, they're like, okay, I have no questions at all. We've covered absolutely everything. And then I'm going, right, I've done my job.
Yeah. And what would be some of the questions they should ask the photographer? Just say, you know, a month out, like, what would be a few important things?
I suppose the obvious ones would be like, okay, how long are we going to be out doing photographs? Or when are we going to do family photographs? Or where are we going to go do the photographs? So like, prime example, I would always say, have options. So don't think of just one place, think of 3 places, because we just don't know what's going to happen with the weather.
Yeah.
They should be kind of letting a photographer know if they've any concerns. Like, are they worried about, you know, like the weather, what's going to happen if it's raining, what's going to happen if, you know, if the car breaks down on the way and stuff like that. All those kind of questions that keeps them up at night. You know, the photographer will turn on, he'll give you a good answer. Like he'll explain, look, okay, this is why we spread things out and we create these kind of safety nets in between. So like one thing I love doing is all my couples, I try and kind of get them to have everything done a half hour before the ceremony. So literally they're ready to go out the door a half hour first.
They can relax before they leave. Yeah.
Exactly. So now they've got time to just go, okay, I've everything done, I can just chill out and relax. And then it means that we've got time to go to the church, I've got time to get the lads for the ceremony, and it's flowing a lot quicker that way than the other scenario where they're like, oh, right, we have to go, oh, lock the cars, pack the cars and all that kind of stuff. And then something gets forgotten. So it's either literally, you know, flowers or a baby or something happens
or
the green book. That's a common one. Yeah. Arrive at the church, no green book.
And the priest won't do the ceremony. Even though they sign it at the end. Some priests won't start the ceremony unless the green book is there.
No way.
He has to have in his hand before.
That happened a while ago, didn't it? There was like an hour delay or something.
Yeah. Like I've had weddings where they forgot the rings and stuff, and literally, you know, the kind of things, you just move on. You just keep going, and literally they'll, by the time the rings come around, they should be arrived or something like that, or you know, if they have to go back and get them. But it's all these things where everybody's rushing on the day. That's when these things happen. So try and kind of give yourself enough time that you're just enjoying the day. And not rushing all the time. Especially
that's
the girls.
The one thing really about every wedding. It's like you can tell some couples just relax and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And others are kind of on a bit of an edge all day. Even up to like the first dance. You probably see it, even at the first dance.
Like
just relax. Like it's the best party you probably
I think
ever
like
had in your life.
we're all in different avenues of it. So like we'll say video, band and photography. But I think every single vendor would tell the couples the same thing. Once the day comes, let it be what it's going to be that day.
Yeah.
You
like
know?
The way I
like we know how to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know.
But also you won't,
out, you know.
You're going to be stressed out, but like let the day happen as it happens.
Yeah.
If you forget the rings, whatever, like let's keep going with it anyway. We're not going to cancel the wedding. If something, all this stuff, your day, this is the best way. Your day probably won't go exactly as you have it down on paper. In fact, I don't think any of them have ever gone exactly.
No.
And the best thing to do is just relax and let it happen.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll miss us.
Yeah.
Won't you?
I think the best way to describe it is like be in the moment.
Yeah.
This is a one moment in your life where you need to kind of just literally be there and not worrying about what's happening with the flowers, what's happening with this, what's happening with
And
that.
everybody's there for you on the day.
Yeah.
Like if you need something, you can just say, hey, you know, and somebody will, you know, like don't take it on yourself to.
That's a big thing as well. Like delegate everything on the day. You should not be doing the flowers on the day of your wedding. You should not be kind of organising people and all that. That's what people love to do on the day. They love to get involved, and it gives them that little thing to be involved in. But coming back to kind of would say what you probably hear from the audio on the video side of things, like would say when the bride and groom arrive up to the top of the altar and they sit down, you know, there's probably the odd time where they're going, did you do this? Did you do that? And they're doing their checklist.
This is an ongoing thing because the groom always gets nervous. You know, when I clip on the mic for the ceremony, they're like, oh, you know, I hope you didn't. I'm like, all I do is ever skip to. Well, I have the multicam set up, and the groom audio is underneath muted. When I get to the part where they're saying I do, I turn it up, and then it goes down again. Like, or I might at the real top of the altar, if you know they have a kiss or something like that, I'll turn it up. But I'm not listening to 2 hours of the groom's conversations.
Well, actually, it's funny I did because you videoed my wedding, right?
Yeah.
And my wife was an hour and a half late or something for the church.
She was fairly...
Yeah. I thought
it was touch and go there for a while, yeah.
I actually said to Carla once, looks, thanks for coming, we're all going to... I'll pay everyone's fare. No, but she turned up and I obviously had the mic clipped onto me and she got to the top of the altar and she said to me, I'm so sorry, but my nephew Colin he got locked in the toilet having a and I said, actually, this mic is on, actually. we might leave that story just until afterwards, maybe.
But yeah, you're never listening to that.
No.
And actually, just before I forget, as a question, photographer and band, is there anything bands can do or they do that annoys you or they could do better?
Oh, let's get into this now. Let's get right into this.
Kind of warmed up now.
How close is that exit door?
No, I have seen some sour photography faces. But no, I'm only messing. Of course, I get it. You're there for 12 hours before I even get there.
But just as far, like if a band, you know, if there's a band, say you've never seen them before, is there anything they could do to annoy you? Or is there any little tips that could make life easier for everyone? Like,
not really. Like I get on with most.
What about lights? Like
lights,
like
lights is the hardest thing. So there's one or two things that literally, and it's more a case of I'm paranoid about my equipment and stuff, but there's some, and it could be DJs as well as bands, but they have these kind of like little laser lights. So I look at the bride and the bride's literally covered with these little green red dots because they have this kind of lasers and what. But if I turn my camera to photograph the band and one of those lasers goes into the lens,
ruins the sensor. Yeah.
It ruins the sensor. So my camera is gone, just like that. So it's those type of things that I worry about. So, but all I do is I just go up to the band and say, listen, lads, would you mind just turning off those lights just for the first dance? Just till I get that done. I said, you can turn them back on afterwards. And most are very good.
I wouldn't mind, but laser lights are the worst. Like, they're so bad as well.
They're kind of old school.
They're real old
school
laser lights, But the big thing is, and I mean, this obviously is like we know this, is that when you land in, like I did a wedding on, you weren't involved in it actually, but it was in the same venue where I saw you in last, but where straight away, like we were loading in the first speaker, like, and the photographer came up and was like, what time, lads, are you going to be? And you kind of get this whole thing of, he's going to stand there now for an hour and watch me setting up, like just going, come on, you know? And I mean, I get it. You're there for the last 14 hours or so. I can't imagine you're ever like that with bands now.
No, because like
you're not though.
It's quite funny because like I'm normally I'm trying to get. So what I do with every couple is right. So I would say, listen, junior drinks exception. Forget about photographs. Go relax. Have the pint. Have the chats with everybody in the whole lot, right? Rather than going off and doing all the group photographs, because that's what generally they get to the hotel and all of a sudden they have to get the photographs with the cousins and get the photographs with the work friends and what. And I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 times there's somebody missing. Somebody's gone to the bar or somebody's checking in. So I always say, leave it till after the meal. There's an hour of a lull there while the band are setting up. That's the perfect time because everybody's had a bit of drink. They're all fed. They're all in a good mood. That's the time to get them. Yeah. And like I do a lot of stuff in the Radisson and stuff, and I love, they have stairs at the back kind of entrance, and it's so great because you can stagger, you can put in 50, 60 people in there and get them all together. Yeah. And it's a lovely shot because they're all in.
Attention off the band setting up as well.
And then you let the band do their job. Like the other thing a lot of people fail to realise is, you cannot go dancing as soon as you finish your meal.
Oh,
no. Do you know what I mean?
There's such a good point.
So, like, you need time for your food to digest, right? And the thing about Irish weddings, we eat a lot during the wedding. So we have like 3 or 4 courses. So by the time you're stuffed and you're like, okay, I'm not going to...
Especially now as well, because the speeches are generally before the meal.
Yeah.
So you're literally just finished.
Yeah.
You know.
And then like people kind of, we're going to go straight into dancing. And you go, but nobody's going to dance. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's the whole expectation. Like photographers need to calm down and just literally... go photograph people. That's what you're paid to do.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, I think actually, that's such a good point that because the way you do it then is you're not going, oh, my day is done, yes.
Yeah.
Whereas actually that lull of an hour might make a vendor kind of go, I'm nearly at the finish line. I just need this band to get going quick so I can finish.
No,
but you're like, no, I still have stuff to do here. Like
I'm looking for the people that I've missed all day. Yeah. I'm looking for the grannies that are just getting their second wind and they're going to go out on the dance floor, or you know, the people that mightn't kind of be staying around, and I'm trying to make sure I've gotten them. Yeah. But like the big thing I'm always getting across is that it's important to kind of just keep going, keep moving the whole lot. I did a bit of research with, say, over the last couple of months, where I was looking at where the biggest bulk of photographs that I'm providing to a couple are, you know, and it tends to be a lot in the morning, but there's an awful lot in the from the reception. So from when they arrive at reception, it could be 40 to 50% of their photographs are from the reception because there's so much going on.
Yeah, and it's actually the part where everyone has relaxed into what the day is going to be as well, isn't it?
So it's nice. I think like the morning and the ceremony and the family photos is all about the family and the couple and the bridal party. But when you get to reception, it's about your guests and the crack and the fun you're having, that kind of stuff, you know? That's what it should be about.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, is there anything else that you wanted to say? I mean, we brought you on here to...
one thing I was going to just ask was, is there any tips you'd have to make the day run a bit smoother? You know, like you said about forgetting, you know, the green book, or is there anything else where there's key moments that one little change would kind of make things...
Yeah, I think a lot of people would say that there's a certain moments of the day that are very emotional and they're very... how would I put it? Like, it's quite funny. I'm looking for those moments because in my head, I'm looking for the slideshow that evening and I'm looking for the moments that are going to make people cry. So they're the moments I'm looking for. But like, there's moments in the morning. So for example, when Dad sees the bride in the dress for the first time, and I love where you just create that opportunity. So you're getting rid of everybody in the room. You're trying to make them as comfortable as possible and give them a bit of privacy. And that's a big thing. We'll say, like, I feel Irish people in general, they're afraid to show emotion, especially the dads. And it's nothing better than literally when they walk in the door and they just see that we're trying to hide in corners. We're hiding behind cupboards and cabinets and stuff like that. But we're trying to get those moments where he sees his little girl in the dress for the first time and it hits him, and it hits him hard. And you could have the toughest guy. And I've seen it. I've seen guards. I've seen construction workers, builders, fellas that literally, I'd say they barely crack a smile. You know, they walk in and they see their girl and they just go, you know, they lose it. And that's lovely to see. And
you're just thinking this would cost me a fortune.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're screwed.
Dress cost
you are
me a
so screwed. Yeah, but it's like forget about everything else. Like everything else, like you spend so much money on the details of a wedding, like so the dress, the shoes, all these things. But it's not about that. It's about the moments. It's these moments that you will look back in 20 years and go, you know, I can relive that moment.
And like the video, that's when it becomes valuable in time. Like
it's
the images the next week, you know, is okay, but like in 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's a good point, because what should people do with the photos? It's the one thing of you being there on the day, but would you have any advice for what they should do with the images that you deliver to them straight after?
Yeah, it's one of these things that it's kind of changed over the last 10 years. It's all about digital.
Yeah.
So we used to always provide an album with every wedding. It used to be the standard. And then everybody started moving to digital, and they kind of said, oh, we'll just get digital. We'll figure it out afterwards. And my biggest concern is there's now a big gap in regards to, because it's become the norm digital, people are forgetting about you're hiring a photographer to produce photographs, prints, things that actually physically you can hold in your hand. And it's one of the things that I'm trying to get people into that mindset of getting an album, getting kind of photographs printed and stuff like that. And it just means that, like, in years to come, we don't know what's going to happen with Google. We don't know what happen with all these cloud services. So you put your photographs up there and you start to forget about it. And in 10 years' time, you realize I've done nothing with my photographs. And you're trying to find those photographs, which is even worse. Like, so I'm always saying, like, the first year should be your time to literally immortalize your photographs, print them, put them in an album, even go to Harvey Norman to print them. Just have a physical copy that you'll be able to show in time. Show your kids, show your grandkids the photographs. Like, that's what our parents have done. Like you can remember your parents' album or photographs your parents had. Like, they had albums of books of photos, and we just don't have that anymore. And it's literally scaring me a little bit, because even my own kids, I worry that we don't have all the photographs. Kind of, we have them on our phones, but like we've thousands on our phones, and it's so hard to go back and find those photographs. Do you not find that you're like flicking for days and days trying to find
a good point, and
photographs?
it doesn't look the same either. Like you know, like there's no elegance to it, because all of my wedding photos are on a Google Drive, like.
Yeah.
But so is all the rest of me work, like, you know, and I just kind of flicking through. It's just another Google Drive, like, with photos in it, like.
What do you offer?
Even texture-wise, it's much better to have an actual physical thing, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
Like
what do you offer couples then after? So, you know, if you shot the wedding and a few months later, can you do any size images or
you
what?
can pretty much do any, like, so we do albums, like, from the main thing I always do is I wait until after the wedding for them to pick the album. So because they need to kind of see their photographs, they need to have an idea of what the album would kind of look like, and then they can decide on the colors. Like, so I've brides that might have picked a lovely kind of blue sky wedding photograph. So literally blue sky, and they're walking along and stuff. So you want something to match that. So that's where they're
walking along a beach in Roscommon.
Yes, exactly. A lovely beach in Roscommon. But it literally, it means that they have to kind of make all those decisions, and they have a lot to decide before the wedding anyway. So literally let it till after the wedding, but don't let it too late. But the one thing I've started doing the last couple of years.
What would you say, like 6 months, 3 months?
3 months. I'd say you should have your photographs within a month. You know, you should be starting to look at your albums within 2 months. And then in 3 months, you physically should have it in your hands. But the one thing I found is I still feel like 3 months is a long time to have something physically in your hands. But that's why I do the frames. That's why I do the book and the whole lot, because I want them to have something.
Actually, tell us about the frames. I don't know if you've seen this, what you do with the family frames.
I started doing it about 3 or 4 years ago. So traditionally, they give the mums a bouquet of flowers. And it's a lovely gift and a whole lot.
Is that the speeches? Or
yeah, so during the speeches, it's like, you know, we have a gift for the parents, that kind of stuff. And it's a lovely gift. And like, I say, look, you know, if you still like doing that, absolutely. But one thing I hated was, like, there was no lasting value to it. So it lasted like 2 weeks, and, you know, there was it didn't last for a long time. So I started doing where I can actually print, frame, and gift wrap their family photographs. So, you know, we were taking the family photographs during the day. So I'd then turn around and I'd actually print that, and I'd frame it and hold it and have it ready for the speeches.
No way, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it gives them the frames and
God almighty.
Yeah, so they'd have that literally to give the parents. And what I love is it's for both. Like, so the flowers are for the mums, you know, and the frame is like literally for both, if you know what I mean, for mums and dads. And there's nothing better than when I'm kind of floating around while the banner's setting up, I'm seeing them going around the tables and they're showing it off to everybody. You know, and there was like one scenario, maybe I shouldn't, no, I will say it.
Say it.
Please say it. We're all about
I got in trouble with a hotel because the father of the bride went and he took one of the frames off the wall in this kind of very expensive hotel to put up the framed photograph on the wall that night. So
He put
yeah.
that frame on the wall.
Oh, yeah,
He took
yeah.
off the
Took
Mona
off
Lisa,
the
the original
yeah.
Mona Lisa. He took
Took
it
off
out.
like a framed artwork to put up the little 10x8 frame on the wall. Yeah,
Is it
so-
still there?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think when he was taking it off, he pulled the
screw out.
screw out
God,
and all
yeah.
that. So yeah, so he got in
Oh,
trouble over
So
it.
you
Lord.
should include screws and a.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kind of, it does come with the like cable on the back, kind of ready to
Yeah.
hang on the wall and stuff.
You can
But
hang it
it's
anywhere.
just something different.
Well, he was
and-
proud of the image anyway.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And like
That's
that,
so much better than just a kind
Yeah.
of gestural thanks, Mammy. Here's
and
a
I'm
flower."
trying to go
Yeah.
one step further. So now I'm starting to do an album on the day. So I
no way.
actually will print like literally I think it's about 10 or 15 photographs go into it, but it's like a keepsake album because I want them to have a physical album on the day.
Yeah.
And literally they have something to show the next morning. You know, they have breakfast next morning or the after party or somebody who couldn't make it, like say Granny couldn't come to the wedding and they've something to show them. You know, something like that.
But
Because
you also do same day slideshows, though.
yeah, so like
You fit a lot in the day. In
I do.
fairness.
I don't
get the
stop.
time.
I literally, he's having his dinner and I'm literally typing away and working
Are
away.
you on
the
your own
laptop.
all the time when you're
Yeah,
there?
most
Yeah.
times I do. Like I have my daughter helps me sometimes. Like I'm kind of looking at that whole idea of a second assistant, but I kind of prefer to be kind of working on my own because I know where I want to go and stuff like that. But
What's the same day slideshow then? Just
so that's basically where during the meal I'll sit down, I'll pick out 100 photographs, edit them, put them to music, show them to a couple first.
I like the way you casually say it, like I'll edit 100 photographs
100 photos.
it can be done
as you're eating. Like
Absolutely,
Yeah.
very easy to do.
You're making this
But
job
like-
sound easy.
yeah,
though.
I know. Yeah, but that's
Actually,
your,
no, it takes hours. I have like, I
Takes
send it
6
off.
months.
I send it off to China, and the time difference gives me like Santa.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I get 24 hours out of that.
Yeah.
But no, it's the whole idea is because your guests very rarely see all your wedding photographs, and I loved the idea of them seeing a glimpse of the day, and like. The groom wouldn't have seen the bride in the morning, so he
True,
gets
yeah,
to see
yeah.
that morning, and likewise the other way around.
Yeah.
And it just gives them kind of a nice kind of feeling of the day. And like I said, I'm always trying to put somebody crying. So I'm looking for those moments where kind of, you know, those real kind of emotional moments throughout the day as well to show off. But it's lovely because, like I said, most photographers, it takes about a month before you get your photographs because they have to send it off.
Is that
They
the
have to edit
normal
them. Yeah,
wedding
the
time?
normal would be roughly 4 to 6 weeks. So the idea base is they would either edit themselves or they would send it off to editors, and it takes a bit of time to make sure everything is perfect in the whole lot. So those 100 photographs they get in the next day. So they're getting some of their photographs within 24 hours. So that was the idea. And it was kind of in competition to content creators as well, because one thing I noticed, like we said, there is more interest in content creators, and I wanted to give something that they would have straight away as well.
I
So
suppose we're not going to hold you much longer, but as far as online goes, is there anything you offer like that, like within 48 hours, if they want to put on Instagram or anything? Like that?
yeah, like I've started doing kind of like behind the scenes. So it's basically I use the Meta glasses, and I have like we'll say Insta cameras and stuff like that that will record kind of so I can clip to my camera. Or I love the glasses because it's given my perspective, so I'm giving
Yeah.
their point of view, and it's very discreet. So like I can be in a civil ceremony and I'm standing there during the vows and I've turned on, nobody notices.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to get those moments. And I generally have a rule of thumb, I only do it kind of, we'll say, when there's not a videographer. So if Brian's there, I won't bother. But it's for those some weddings where they haven't a videographer, and it's to give them those little clips. And it's not a replacement for the videographer as well, I have to say. It's literally, because they only record for 3 minutes. So it's those little moments that I'm trying to just get for them. And then I send them on to them the next day, that kind of stuff. But I'd love to do more kind of, we'll say, on the content creation side. I am looking at a content creation package, but I kind of feel
Because
like
you're
I'm-
not doing enough already on the day.
well, that's what I'm going to say. Maybe I'm doing enough.
You need to
I know,
hire
I need
about
to-
4 different people. Yeah.
But like I've worked with content creators this year, and like they're great and all and the whole lot. It's the and I kind of think you touched on it before we talked about this, but it's the extra people. So like if you have a wedding where there's 2 photographers, 2 videographers, and a content creator, there's 5 people on the altar.
Yeah.
It does
There could be
draw
2
a lot of
priests.
attention.
Yeah.
You know,
Brad
and
Pitt
2
wouldn't
priests.
have that following.
No, exactly. But it's nice kind of to document parts of those days. So, but I think you're right in that we'll say videographers can do this, and that's why I worry. I do feel content creators, I'm not sure if it's a lasting trend, if you know what I mean, because I feel like photographers and videographers will absorb it in that they'll kind of go, I can do parts of this.
I think that's a good point. I mean, I think the trend itself will stay.
Yeah.
But I think it will, like you said, I think it'll be eaten up
just
by the
absorbed.
videographers.
Yeah, I think so.
And really what it is
So we have to hire content creators.
no, I think there'll be a compromise. I think there'll be I hope this is the right way to say it. I think there'll be a quality compromise for quicker output of social media clips.
Yeah.
And I think that's where videographers and photographers, you're already in it because you're editing 100 photos that day.
Yeah.
I think videographers are going to start to go, I need to fire together a 1 minute reel now.
Yeah.
Like now.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
can't sit
exactly.
at the computer for 3 months now. I need to give them 1 minute right now.
And that is tough to do because
it's really hard to do.
Because like if there's shots there that need a bit of tweaking color wise, do you just let them out?
That's
Oh,
part,
you
yeah.
just honestly,
you know, like do you spend
just,
another hour
no,
or do you? Yeah,
no,
and
you
that's,
just let them out.
It's hard to do that, like
Yeah.
to kind of put out something that's not your best as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But-
That's where I'm on about the
But
compromise.
99% of people might notice.
But that's kind of why
You know.
I like the glasses or the glass, because it's not meant to be
Yeah.
professional.
There you go. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
meant to be. So maybe that's the kind of thing. You're not matching your own professional style.
yeah.
It's just a more authentic kind of view. You know, maybe that's it.
So, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
But it's hard to know.
Well,
how it'll go.
Richard, thanks for coming in. I feel like we could talk for another hour.
Yeah, let's,
Any hard questions?
no, let's do it. That wasn't the hard question.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. How can people, I suppose, get in touch or find out about Richard McCarthy?
RichardMcCarthy.ie or Sligo Wedding Photographer. You'll find me under kind of each of those. I think I'm Sligo Wedding Photographer on Instagram, I think, or might be under Richard McCarthy Photo as well. So
Yeah.
just search Richard McCarthy Photography. I'm sure I'll pop up somewhere on there.
That's great.
That's the easiest way to find me, I suppose.
That's great. Well, thanks for coming in, Richard.
Thanks very
We'll
much.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Ben.